What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be updating my Automaton tier list that I made a few weeks ago, because in that time there have been a lot of buffs to all of the stratagems, and obviously we have one new one, which is the Airburst Rocket Launcher, so let's get started. So for this weapon here, I'm a massive fan of like the concept behind this weapon. I think just the idea of like a pocket cluster bomb, which is what a lot of people have been calling it, is really cool, and I enjoy using it. Against the bots, it's not amazing. Like it isn't my first pick, and I wouldn't recommend that you bring a bunch of these. I think I'm gonna give it a B tier. It may deserve a bit lower, maybe in C, but I think if you have like a full squad of 4 people, having one guy bring this, just it'll kill bot drops decently well if you shoot like below the dropship, and obviously it'll kill all the light bots, which will prevent more bot drops from spawning. It really can't kill Devastators that well, but it still has some value, I think. So I think I'll give it B tier. And then now what I'm going to do is, here, let me put it with the weapons. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make a few adjustments to this list. So immediately, Quasar Cannon is going to fall down a little bit. It's not S tier anymore. I think I'm still going to give it A tier, because even with a 15-second cooldown, it's still really good. Still pretty much on par with the E17, I think, but it's definitely not S tier anymore, unfortunately. Autocannon should have always been S tier. It's going to move up. Really don't need to explain this one, I don't think. And then Railgun. So I just made a video about this. It got buffed pretty substantially in the most recent update, and I have tested it a lot against the bots, and honestly, I think I'm going to move it up to S tier now. Some people might not agree with this decision, but I think after getting nerfed so hard and now getting buffed, I think it definitely has reclaimed its spot at S tier. Okay, so the AMR, I love this gun. Probably my favorite gun, just overall to bring, just because I have the most fun using it. I think I'm going to bump it down to A tier. I think it is still very effective. You should definitely consider bringing it. But I think the autocannon and railgun against the bots are just kind of in a tier of their own right now. These two guns are just incredible against them. Okay, and then some of the guns I have down here. I think, so the grenade launcher, now that we have the grenade pistol, and the spear is a bit better at destroying the fabricators, honestly, it's going to go in, I'm just going to put it in D tier. Like the flamethrower, I think it's better against the bugs. I just really don't see the use in bringing it against the bots. The recoilless rifle, I'm still not a big fan of this gun. And the only thing it has going for it is the team reload, which, if you're not using that, just bring the E17 or the Quasar Cannon. I'll bump it up to C tier just because you can get decent use out of it. I mean, it is the fastest firing of rocket launcher, but other than that, it doesn't have a lot going for it, so I'm going to leave it in C tier. Okay, next, I think the laser cannon, I think I ranked it too low last time. After playing with it a bit more, it actually does pop the heads off Devastators very effectively. It's not as good against the Striders, but it can still melt the heavy armor pretty well. Honestly, I think I'll put it up in A tier. I think it deserves to be with the anti-materials rifle, E17, Quasar Cannon. Yeah, solid A tier. Okay, I'm pretty happy with these weapon placements. Let's see. So looking at the Eagles, so immediately, I think the 500 kg I'm going to bump down to A tier just a little bit. I don't think it's quite effective as the airstrike, and they need to be separate tiers. And then I'm going to swap the rocket pods with the cluster bomb, just because I think overall, the rocket pods are actually very effective against taking things out, like the cannon turrets, or tanks, or even Hulk sometimes if you really need to. And cluster bomb is really only good on light enemies, and a lot of the bots tend to have heavier armor, so it's not quite as effective. And then smokes, yes, you can get value out of them. Would I recommend bringing them? Not really. I just think they're very situational, so I'm just going to leave them in trash. They maybe could be in D tier, but that's as far as I'd put them, honestly. Now looking at orbitals. So immediately, the orbital laser, especially now that I know that it can pretty much one-shot a factory strider if you launch it right on its back and let it hit it the entire time for its duration, and it completely destroys it, it's going to go in S tier. Easily. I think I'm going to... The rail cannon strike is interesting. It's very effective at what it does, but its cooldown is just so long. I'm going to leave it in S tier just because it is still very effective, but I'd probably bring like the airstrike with the laser over it if I had to pick one. Okay. Now we got some other ones down here. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with these placements, I think. You could maybe put the Walking Barrage higher just because it can sometimes be effective, but I think I'd rather have the Orbital 380 over the Walking Barrage, so yeah, they're going to stay where they are. Okay, so now we got Emplacement Stratagems. Again, I don't think these need to be moved around too much. Mines are still not very good. I don't like the HMG against the bots just because they're just going to shoot you off of it. Yes, you can make it work, but I still don't recommend it. The Tesla Tower is just going to get blown up before the bots get close to it. Shield is easily still A tier. Have one or two guys bring this, and you have a shield almost every fight, and it's incredibly helpful. So yeah. Okay. Now we got backpacks. So the first one I'm going to look at is actually the shield pack. I put it in trash last time, and it has been buffed slightly since then. I still don't think it's like the most optimal choice ever, but it isn't like awful anymore. I think I'm going to stick it in C tier. Put it with the laser here. I think if you with the right build, it can be very effective, but because it's so situational and there's really only one primary you can bring with it, and that's just an SMG, I think I'm going to leave it in C tier. The guard dogs against the bots aren't great, so I'm going to leave them where they are. Supply pack and shield are still very good. The shield pack I haven't been bringing quite as much, just because I've been favoring more offensive stratagems, but it's still a very good pick. Okay, and last we have the sentries. So I think these are ranked pretty well overall. What I might do is, now that we have the new defense missions on the planet where we have to launch the missiles, and sentries are really good on those, I've seen people bringing like these 4 sentry builds where they have the both mortars, the autocannon, and the rocket sentry, and it actually is pretty effective if you have like 1 or 2 people do that. So I think I'll bump the rocket sentry up just a little bit. I think the autocannon's still slightly better, but I think they definitely both deserve B tier. Okay. And then the Gatling and the normal sentry turret, these are just, I mean, they're okay, but I'm not gonna put them any higher. So then we just got the exosuit. And as much as I love this thing against the bugs, maybe not as much recently. Its rockets are a bit more inconsistent now, especially when we're dealing with Chargers. Against the bots, it almost deserves D tier, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to leave it in C just because you can maybe get a little value out of it. Sniping things with the rockets, maybe. Its machine gun is pretty powerful. It does have medium armor penetration. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't really recommend it. Okay. So I think this tier list is now much more up to date with the current meta of the game. Please leave a comment and let me know if you agree or not. If you disagree, let me know what you think should be changed. And yeah, please like this video and sub to my channel. And thank you for watching.